Hey Trackies, welcome back to another video here on TXT Track Time. Please remember to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. So Trackies, on the heels of Nikisha Price running a world-leading performance at that particular moment, 48.89 seconds. Of course, we were over the moon by the performance and excited for what would be, a gold medal attempt in Paris. It is still, a gold medal attempt in Paris, but the playing field has widened quite a bit, and I have to say I'm quite surprised by what is going on. And I have to say that the 400 meters right now for the women has been blown right open, but guess what, I am here for it absolutely. So as I said, Nikisha Price over the weekend, on Saturday to be exact, she ran a 48.89 seconds. However, it was short lived because on Sunday, Sydney McLaughlin Leveroni came out and blasted that to the moon and ran a 48.75 seconds. I mean, Sydney can't make us have anything, child. Now, this time for me is interesting, or this performance in general for me is interesting when I think about Sydney. Because given that she came out, or at least her team came out and confirmed that she would be doing the hurdles this season, as in the four hurdles, it's interesting that she's only run it once. I've seen her focus more on, other events, aka the 400 meters. That means she's also run, the short 200 meters as well as the hurdles itself, the short hurdles, right? Sprint hurdles. So it's pretty interesting seeing what she's doing here. And I think I did get some information that Sydney has actually signed up for the 400-meter hurdles and the 200 meters at the US Championships. So with that said, it will be interesting to see, what event she actually take parts in at the actual trials, to head off to Paris and compete there for a potential gold medal. Look here. All I'm saying is, Sydney, go back over your hurdles, okay? That's an easy gold medal as far as I'm concerned. Leave the 400-meter girlies alone. I'm joking, track is if she wants to compete in the 400 meters, it is what it is. The other girls just have to show up and compete along with her and try to take her down. That's the nature of the game, that's the nature of sports, and of course the nature of competition. But again, track is it did not stop there, because shortly after that, just a day after, so we're talking about the 8th, Nikisha Price runs the world lead 48.89. We're like, okay, she's in the conversation for gold. Then Sydney a day later on the 9th runs a 48.75, and we're like, okay, but Sydney's running the hurdles, so let's go on side eyeing her though and see what she decides to do. And then on the 10th, literally on the 10th, track is. So the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th, we saw absolutely phenomenal performances in the 400 meters. But this one for me came as an absolute shocker, because Natalia Kaczmarek from Poland literally came out and blasted a 48.98 seconds. Track is utterly shocking. I believe most people, including myself, I'm like, what? Natalia, where did this come from? You know what I mean? A 48.98 seconds for a new personal best. And I mean, when you talk about how her season was going so far this season, running above 50 seconds, not really dipping below. I mean, she did have that one performance, sub 50, and that was, I believe, 49.8, right? But going from a 49.8 to, sub 49 to me is wild. Now, when you look at other athletes and, their performances so far this season, you can, get a trend as it relates to how they got there, because Nikisha Price was running well, you know what I mean? And this 48.89 wasn't really a surprise when you take into consideration what she was already doing, right? Even Rashida Adeleke, that finished second, right, to Natalia Kaczmarek running a 49.07 seconds. When you take into consideration again that, she's pretty much been focusing on the shorter sprints this season, I guess, to build up her speed work. This is the first time for her touching the 400 meters so far this season. However, she has a personal best of 49.20 seconds. So it's not wild to think, especially when you think about the upside of her, how young she is and how much better she could potentially get. It's not wild seeing a 49.07. But I have to say, Natalia Kaczmarek really threw me for a loop when I saw that, 48.98 seconds, run from her. And again, it kind of blows things now wide open for Paris, in my opinion. When I think about most of these performances that were run, track is, my opinion doesn't change, because I see a lot of people saying, oh, I'm being biased when the Jamaicans run the times, I'm cool with it. No, my opinion still stands. I want to see these athletes replicate these performances elsewhere, especially when I see, athletes in general just run fast on an American track. I don't care which track it is. I want to see them go someplace else, and, do that again. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be the exact time, but I would love to see some consistency in and around that particular performance. That is my view. So yeah, it doesn't matter if it's Nikisha Price or anybody else, Natalia Kaczmarek. I want to see this again. You know what I mean? Because I don't know what's going on in Italy. Because I've also checked some other results, and those other results, especially like in the short sprints, women's 100 meters, men's 100 meters, they weren't exceptional to say the least. So when I take into consideration that I've seen a few performances that really stood out, and the 400 meters women is one, I don't know if I can, bring that down to, the track. You know what I mean? I don't think I can say that because I've been looking at other performances and it kind of does match up to say, oh, it's the track. So it will be interesting to see what these girlies do when they head off again to Paris. I'm expecting to see them there, and I'm expecting them to be in contention. But again, I would love to see, these performances replicated, as I said. Now, another, important performance as well, that I took away from the European championships, outdoor championships, is the women's 100-meter hurdles. Now, y'all know this is an event that has always been stacked brim. Year after year after year after year, we see strong performances after strong performances after strong performances. You know what I mean? And these women remain consistently, at the highest level, competing, right? And that's pretty much how it is, on a standard basis, or a normal basis when it comes to the hurdles. But what I was surprised with was the fact that at the European Championships, we had Samba Mayela from France run a world leading mark, 12.31 seconds. And of course, this is a national record and personal best for herself. 12.31 seconds to, head into France. And y'all know that's where the Olympic Games will be held, with this massive personal best, in my opinion, and confidence booster as well. This, for me, was an absolutely phenomenal performance. But she wasn't the only one in the racetrack, is that, again, performed absolutely wild to me. Also, the Taji Kambunji as well. She ran at 12.40 seconds for second, and she's from Switzerland. And Pia Szajowska, I want to say that's how her name is pronounced, from Poland, she ran at 12.42 seconds. Now, trackies, these are personal best for all these athletes here. And based on how I've seen these athletes trending trackies, I'm not gonna lie, I can't really say I'm 100% surprised, because Sama Mele has been going from strength to strength, personal best to personal best, as well as the Taji Kambunji. You know what I mean? She's been going from strength to strength to strength and getting faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, right? And we've all seen these results this season, so I'm not absolutely surprised seeing these performances. But as I said, it kind of blows things now, even wider when we take into consideration the who's who, in the women's 100-meter hurdles. Clearly, you still have to look at the likes of the world record holder Toby Amusan. Still have to take a look at the deep American team. Any three at this particular point can be a three that will be challenging, for a medal on the podium. You have to take into consideration as well Jasmine Camacho Quinn, the defending Olympic champion. You have to take into consideration the Jamaican Daniel Williams, the world champion from last season, plus the world indoor champion Devin Charlton, as well, as so many other people that are doing absolutely phenomenal in the women's 100-meter hurdles. I think out of all of the events that will be going down in Paris, this is one event that you may not be able to call a winner for. Unless when we get to Paris and we start to watch the rounds and we see how everybody's navigating the rounds, then we can say that athlete, or that athlete may be able to, land on the podium. However, we've also seen where, athletes have gone through rounds in the hurdles and everything looks great and they look set for a medal. And unfortunately, when they get to the finals, the execution just goes left. Then they start to hit all the hurdles, and yeah, they end up not medaling. So I can't even say, after the first two rounds, we'll be like, okay, these are the people medaling, because we know exactly how the hurdles goes. But anyway, trackies, I just wanted to point out to y'all that keep an eye on the Taji Kambunji from Switzerland over the 100-meter hurdles, and Samba Mayele from France over the 100-meter hurdles, as well as in the women's 400 meters. I think I've already been telling you guys to keep an eye on Rashida Adeleke. I've been screaming this from a top of a hill, especially when I talk about the 4x4s. Now, clearly, I see them developing an even stronger mixed 4x4 team, and they're definite threat for gold there in Paris 100%. So keep an eye on Rashida Adeleke and, of course, their 4x4 team, whether it's mixed or, if they can put together a women's 4x4 team. Let's see how that goes, right? And then also Natalia Kaczmarek, keep an eye on her as well. And y'all know Poland always has a good 4x4 team as well. So keep an eye on these athletes, not only over their individual event, but how they'll be able to boost host, their 4x4 team at Paris. But yeah, great performances over the weekend, and it kind of blows things open now, and kind of wild for me, leaving me kind of scratching my head, and I'm like, where do we go from here? You know what, Chuckies? But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video, of course, and subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye.